She doesn't yell. That's what makes the silence afterward feel earned. Nia stands in the kitchen with her phone tilted toward him, Malcolm's voice crackling through the speaker like a third presence neither of them invited. Her breathing is uneven, but her words come out flat, rehearsed almost. Either accept Malcolm in my life, she says, or leave. Darius notices the dishwasher is still running. The cabinet door under the sink hangs slightly open. He'd been meaning to tighten the hinge. Small things. Fixable things. He fixes things for a living. He doesn't respond immediately. Doesn't raise his voice. Doesn't reach for his phone to record or his keys to throw. He lets the hum of the dishwasher fill the space between them while Malcolm breathes on the other end of the line, waiting. Then Darius walks to the bedroom. Nia follows, her bare feet slapping against the hardwood. You're really doing this? He pulls a duffel from the closet. Black canvas. Already half-packed. I don't negotiate loyalty, he says. The bag had been ready for 3 weeks. The direct deposits rerouted 11 days ago. The joint account thinned so gradually she hadn't noticed or hadn't wanted to. He folds a shirt. Places it inside. Zips the bag with 2 hands, evenly, no rush. You're twisting this, Nia says. Her voice cracks on the last word. I'm responding. He doesn't slam the door on the way out. Doesn't leave a note. Doesn't look back to see if she's crying yet. The next morning, her card declines at the grocery store. A small purchase, eggs, bread, orange juice. The cashier waits while Nia swipes again. And again. By afternoon, the utilities have shifted. By evening, the joint account holds exactly what she contributed and nothing more. She calls him. What did you do? I reduced exposure. Exposure to what? Disrespect. The word lands without echo. He doesn't yell. Doesn't curse. Doesn't post anything online or explain himself to mutual friends or make a single public accusation. He simply removes himself. And when you remove stability from a system that depends on it, the collapse looks natural. She tells people he abandoned her. He tells people nothing. Silence, after all, is powerful. Especially when you already know exactly how events will unfold. By the time she gave him the ultimatum, he'd already decided she would lose. She just didn't know it yet. The argument starts over chicken. Nia stands at the stove, stirring a pot she hasn't looked at in 3 minutes. Her phone sits on the counter, face up, Malcolm's last message still glowing on the screen. You deserve someone who actually sees you. Darius sees it. He's seen all of them. He doesn't mention it. Instead, he opens the refrigerator, surveys its contents like a man taking inventory, and says, "You're burning the onions." I'm not. You are. Nia turns the burner down without acknowledging him. The kitchen fills with the smell of char. Darius closes the refrigerator. Leans against the counter. His arms fold across his chest, not aggressive, just present. Observing. Malcolm check in today? The question sounds casual. It isn't. Why do you do that? Nia's grip tightens on the wooden spoon. Do what? Ask about him like you're making conversation. Darius tilts his head. I am making conversation. No. She turns to face him now. You're keeping score. He doesn't deny it. Doesn't confirm it either. He lets the silence stretch until it becomes its own kind of answer. I talked to him, Nia says finally. At lunch. For 20 minutes. About work. About nothing. Is that what you need to hear? I didn't ask for a report. Then why bring him up? Darius uncrosses his arms. Reaches for a glass from the cabinet. Fills it with water from the top. Every movement deliberate. Unhurried. Because you tense up when I do, he says. And I'm curious why. Nia's jaw tightens. She turns back to the stove, but the pot has already gone wrong, onions blackened at the edges, the sauce separating. She clicks off the burner. I'm not doing this tonight. Doing what? This. She gestures between them. The questions that aren't questions. The calm that isn't calm. Darius sips his water. Sets the glass down precisely in the center of a coaster. I'm not upset, he says. That's the problem. The words hang. Nia's phone buzzes on the counter. Both of them look at it. Malcolm's name. Again. Darius doesn't move. Doesn't reach for it. Doesn't tell her not to answer. He waits. Nia picks up the phone. Her thumb hovers over the screen. Something in her face shifts, not defiance exactly, but exhaustion hardened into decision. She answers. Puts it on speaker. Hey, Malcolm's voice fills the kitchen. You okay? You sounded off earlier. Darius watches her. His expression doesn't change. I'm fine, Nia says, but she's looking at Darius now, not the phone. Just tired of feeling like I'm on trial in my own house. Malcolm laughs, low and familiar. He's still doing that thing where he asks questions he already knows the answers to? Nia doesn't laugh back. Her eyes stay locked on her husband. Tell him, she says into the phone, though Malcolm can't see what she sees. Tell him I'm not crazy for wanting a friend. You're not crazy, Malcolm says. You're married to someone who thinks love is surveillance. The kitchen goes still. Darius sets his water glass in the sink. Rinses it. Places it in the drying rack. Nia. His voice is even. Almost gentle. Is there something you want to say to me directly? She grips the phone harder. Either accept Malcolm in my life, she says, or leave. The dishwasher hums. The overhead light flickers once. The wiring in this house has always been inconsistent. Darius had been meaning to fix it. He doesn't respond to her ultimatum. Instead, he walks past her, through the living room, down the hallway. She hears the closet door open. Hears hangers sliding on the metal rod. Nia? Malcolm's voice, tinny through the speaker. What's happening? She doesn't answer him. She follows Darius to the bedroom. He stands at the closet with a black duffel bag, one she doesn't recognize, already half full. Shirts folded with military precision. Socks paired. A toiletry kit zipped and ready. You already packed, she says. He adds another shirt. Doesn't look up. You already packed. I prepare for outcomes. This isn't, she stops. Starts again. You can't just. You gave me a choice. He zips the bag. Finally meets her eyes. I made one. That's not what I meant. Then what did you mean? She opens her mouth. Closes it. Her hands shake at her sides. Darius lifts the bag onto his shoulder. Walks past her. She catches his arm, the first time she's touched him in weeks. Darius. He looks at her hand on his sleeve. Then at her face. His expression holds something she can't quite read. Patience, maybe. Or satisfaction. You wanted clarity, he says. Now you have it. He removes her hand. Gently. Like he's handling something fragile. The front door opens. Closes. No slam. Just the soft click of the latch catching. Nia stands in the hallway, phone still in her grip. Malcolm's voice leaks out, asking questions she can't process. She ends the call without saying goodbye. The house settles into silence. The dishwasher cycles through its final rinse. Somewhere outside, a car engine starts. She doesn't move until the headlights sweep across the window and disappear down the street. 6 months earlier. Nia comes home 40 minutes late on a Tuesday. Traffic, she'll say if he asks. Construction on the bypass. Darius is in the garage when she pulls in, bent over an AC unit with his diagnostic meter clipped to the compressor. He hears her car. Doesn't look up. She enters through the side door, keys jangling, purse sliding off her shoulder. Hey. She kisses his cheek. He smells like refrigerant and copper. Sorry I'm late. Traffic was. Construction on the bypass, he says. She pauses. Yeah. How'd you know? City posted detour signs last week. He disconnects the meter. Coils the wire. I figured you'd hit it eventually. Nia watches him organize his tools, each one returning to its designated slot on the pegboard. Screwdrivers are ranged by size. Wrenches hung in descending order. You could have warned me, she says. You could have checked the traffic app. It sounds like a suggestion. It lands like an accusation. She lets it go. Drops her bag on the bench by the door and heads inside. Dinner is already made. Baked salmon, roasted asparagus, rice with too much pepper the way she likes it. The plates are set. Water glasses filled. A single candle burning in the center of the table, unscented, because she mentioned once that scented candles give her headaches. He remembered. He always remembers. She sits. He joins her a few minutes later, hands washed, shirt changed. They eat in a silence that feels almost comfortable until he says, You had lunch with Keisha today. Not a question. I did. Nia spears an asparagus stalk. She's going through it with Terrence again. Needed to vent. At that place on 5th? Yeah. She looks up. Why? Just asking. He cuts his salmon into even squares. Chews. Swallows. Malcolm works near there, he adds. Nia's fork slows. So nothing. Just noticed. The candle flickers. Somewhere in the house, the AC kicks on one of the units. He services himself, quarterly, without being asked. I didn't see Malcolm, Nia says. I didn't say you did. Then why bring it up? Darius takes a sip of water. Sets the glass down on the same ring of condensation it left before. I notice patterns, he says. That's all. She wants to ask what patterns. Wants to press him on the implication buried inside his calm. But he's already moved on, asking about her shift tomorrow, whether she wants him to pick up her dry cleaning, if she's heard back about the conference in September. Normal questions. Thoughtful questions. She answers. It sounds like intimacy. Like a man trying to connect. She wants to believe it. And what are you concluding, she asks. That I need to pay closer attention. She doesn't know what to do with that. So she says, okay. He turns onto his back. Stares at the ceiling. Good night, Nia. Good night. She lies awake long after his breathing slows. The house hums around her, the AC he maintains, the water heater he replaced last spring, the security system he installed when they first moved in. Everything here runs through him. She falls asleep eventually, one hand tucked beneath her pillow, phone dark on the nightstand. She doesn't notice him reach over, hours later, and turn it face up. Doesn't see him read the glow of Malcolm's reply through half-closed eyes, anytime. You know where to find me. He sets it back exactly as she left it. Screen down. In the morning, he makes her coffee. The brunch invitation comes from Keisha. For coworkers, a new spot downtown, bottomless mimosas until 2. Nia almost declines. Saturdays are usually for errands, for the slow unspooling of a week spent on her feet. But Darius has a service call indicator, an emergency unit replacement that will take most of the afternoon, and the house feels too quiet without somewhere to put her restlessness. She texts Keisha back, I'm in. The restaurant is loud in the way brunch places always are, laughter bouncing off exposed brick, silverware clattering, a playlist of songs she half recognizes from a decade ago. She slides into the booth next to Yolanda from radiology and across from Keisha and 2 nurses from the ICU, whose names she keeps mixing up. Mimosas arrive. Then eggs, waffles, bacon arranged on oversized plates meant for photographing. Conversation flows the way it does among women who spend too many hours under fluorescent lights, hospital gossip, schedule complaints, the slow disaster of someone's sister's wedding. So how's married life? Yolanda asks, turning to Nia. Darius still Mr. Perfect? Nia rolls her eyes, but she's smiling. He's not perfect. Girl, please. That man meal preps. He irons. He does, Nia admits. He also installs his own water heaters and changes his own oil. It's like living with a very calm handyman. The table laughs. Keisha raises her glass. To men who fix things, she says. To men who fix things, the others echo. Nia drinks. The mimosa is too sweet, but she doesn't mind. Honestly though, Yolanda continues, you lucked out. Terrence can't even change a light bulb without calling his mama. More laughter. Keisha shakes her head. Don't start on Terrence. I'm just saying. Nia's out here with a man who handles business. Some of us are out here with boys in grown men's bodies. Nia sets down her glass. Something uncomfortable moves through her. Not disagreement exactly, but the urge to correct a picture that isn't quite accurate. He's not as easy as he looks, she says. The table quiets. Not completely, the restaurant is still loud around them, but enough that Nia feels the shift. What do you mean? Keisha asks. Nia shrugs. He's particular. About things. About how things should be. Like what? Like. She searches for an example that won't sound petty. Like he knows where I am all the time. Not because he tracks me or anything. He just pays attention. To everything. Yolanda frowns. That sounds intense. It's not controlling, Nia says quickly. He doesn't tell me what to do. He just notices. And then he mentions it later. Casually. Like he's keeping a ledger. Keisha sips her mimosa. A ledger of what? Nia opens her mouth. Closes it. She doesn't have a good answer. Forget it, she says. I'm making it sound worse than it is. He fixes air conditioners. He's not exactly a supervillain. The joke lands. The tension breaks. Conversation moves on to someone's vacation plans, then to the hospital's new parking policy, then to whether Beyoncé is actually dropping another album. Nia lets the chatter wash over her. She orders another mimosa, picks at her waffles, laughs at the right moments. She doesn't think about Darius again until the check comes and they're all reaching for their cards. The house is still empty when she gets home. She showers, changes into sweats, starts a load of laundry she's been avoiding. Darius texts at 4, finishing up. Home by 6. Want me to grab anything? She replies, I'm good. See you soon. He arrives at 5:47, 13 minutes early, carrying a bag from the Thai place she mentioned liking 3 weeks ago. Thought you might be hungry, he says. I had brunch. That was hours ago. He sets the bag on the counter. Begins unpacking containers, pad thai, spring rolls, a soup she didn't ask for but will probably want later. How is it? He asks. Brunch? Fine. The usual. Who is there? She lists the names. He nods along. Then, Yolanda still seeing that guy from the gym? Nia blinks. How do you know about the guy from the gym? You mentioned it. Last month. After that birthday thing. She had. She barely remembers the conversation. I don't know, she says. We didn't talk about it. What did you talk about? I don't know. Work stuff. Gossip. Nothing. He opens a container. Hands her a fork. They ask about us? The question sounds casual. She knows better now. Yolanda said you seem perfect. That you fix things. Do I? You know you do. He smiles. It reaches his eyes but stops short of warmth. What did you say? She hesitates. Tries to remember exactly what she said. Whether it matters. I told them you fix air conditioners. That you're not a supervillain. She says it lightly. He doesn't laugh. Is that what they think? What? That I'm controlling? No one said that. You just said I keep a ledger. Nia stares at him. How do you? Keisha texted Terrence. Terrence told me at the hardware store last week. He pauses. He thought it was funny. Her face heats. It was a joke. Was it? Yes. He sets down his fork. Takes a breath. Nia, he says quietly. When you talk about me to other people, you're shaping how they see me. How they see us. I wasn't trying to. I'm not accusing you. I'm telling you. He meets her eyes. You minimized me. The word lands heavier than it should. She wants to argue, to point out that it was brunch, that she was venting, that married people complain about each other all the time. But his calm is so complete. So certain. I'm sorry, she says. She doesn't fully mean it. But the silence that follows when she doesn't apologize is worse than the apology itself. I appreciate that, he says. He picks up his fork. Resume's eating. Nia watches him chew. The soup grows cold in its container. Outside, the sun drops behind the neighbor's fence. She doesn't eat the pad thai. Later, in bed, she reaches for him. He lets her. But when she presses closer, he says, I'm tired tonight. Okay. Early call tomorrow. Okay. He kisses her forehead. Rolls over. She lies in the dark, the apology still sitting in her throat like something she swallowed wrong. The shift happens in increments. Nia doesn't notice at first because there's nothing to notice, no argument, no accusation, no door slammed or voice raised. Darius doesn't change. He simply recedes. It starts with touch. He used to reach for her hand during movies. Used to press his palm against the small of her back when they walked through parking lots. Used to pull her close in the kitchen while she cooked, chin resting on her shoulder, breath warm against her neck. Now he sits on the opposite end of the couch, maintains a careful distance in doorways, sleeps on his side of the bed with his back turned, not hostile, just contained. She tells herself he's busy. Tax season for the business. A string of emergency calls from commercial clients. The new contract with the property management company that has him running estimates until 9 most nights. But when she reaches for him, he doesn't refuse. He permits. There's a difference. 3 weeks after the brunch, Nia comes home to find Darius in the living room with his laptop open. Spreadsheets. Invoices. The blue glow of the screen reflected in his glasses. Hey, she says. Hey. She sets her bag down. Crosses to where he's sitting. Leans down to kiss him. He tilts his face up. Accepts the kiss. Returns to the screen. How was your day? She asks. Productive. Anything interesting? Not particularly. She waits for him to ask about hers. He doesn't. I had a rough shift, she says anyway. Lost a patient in the ICU. 63. Cardiac arrest. His wife was in the waiting room the whole time. Darius types something. Nods. That's hard. 2 words. No eye contact. Nia stands there a moment longer. Then she goes to the kitchen, opens the refrigerator, stares at shelves she isn't really seeing. Her phone vibrates in her pocket. Malcolm, you around this weekend? Been meaning to catch up. She types back before she can think better of it. Saturday works. Lunch? His reply comes fast. It's a date. Not a date. You know what I mean. She almost smiles. Saturday arrives gray and humid. Darius leaves early for a job in Marietta, a restaurant chain with 3 failing units that need replacing before Monday. I'll be back late, he says at the door. Okay. He doesn't ask what her plans are. She doesn't volunteer them. The cafe Malcolm chooses is small, tucked into a strip mall between a dry cleaner and a nail salon. He's already seated when she arrives, tall, broader than she remembers, a beard he didn't have when they dated. Look at you, he says, standing to hug her. Still got that walk. What walk? The one that says you know exactly where you're going even when you don't. She laughs. It feels strange in her mouth, like a language she hasn't spoken in weeks. They order coffee. Then sandwiches. Then more coffee. Malcolm talks about his job, project management for a tech startup, decent pay, brutal hours. About his mother's hip surgery. About the trip to Costa Rica he's planning for the fall. He asks about her work. About her goals. About whether she's thought about going back for her NP certification. Darius thinks it's not the right time, she says. What do you think? She opens her mouth. Closes it. I don't know, she admits. I haven't thought about it separate from what he thinks. Malcolm leans back in his chair. Studies her. That's new. What is? You, not knowing what you want. You used to have opinions about everything. Loud ones. I still have opinions. Do you share them? She doesn't answer. Stirs her coffee instead. I'm not trying to start anything, Malcolm says. I just remember you different. More. Present. I'm present. You're here. That's not the same thing. She gets home before Darius. Showers. Changes. Starts laundry she doesn't need to start. When his truck pulls into the driveway at 8, she's on the couch with a book she hasn't been reading. Hey, he says. Hey. He sets his keys in the dish by the door. Hangs his jacket on the hook. Every gesture measured. Predictable. You eat? She asks. Grab something on the way. He doesn't ask if she's eaten. Doesn't ask what she did today. I had lunch with a friend, she says. That's nice. He crosses to the kitchen. Opens the refrigerator. Pours a glass of water. Which friend? The question is too casual. She hears the weight beneath it. Malcolm. Darius drinks his water. Sets the glass down. How's he doing? Fine. Busy with work. Good for him. No follow-up. No accusation. No visible reaction at all. Nia watches him move through the kitchen, wiping the counter that's already clean, rearranging the fruit bowl, checking the calendar on the wall. Are you upset? She asks. Why would I be upset? I don't know. You seem distant. He turns to face her. His expression is patient. Almost pitying. I'm matching energy, he says. What does that mean? It means I'm giving what I get. I don't understand. You've been pulling away for weeks, Nia. I'm just adjusting. She stares at him. I haven't been pulling away. Okay. I haven't. I said okay. The word is agreement and dismissal at once. She wants to argue, to list the times she reached for him and he withdrew, to make him see that he started this, that she's only responding to a coldness he created. But he's already walking past her, toward the bedroom. "I'm gonna shower," he says. "Long day, Darius." He stops. Doesn't turn around. "What's happening to us?" The question comes out smaller than she intended. He's quiet for a moment. Then, "I don't know," he says. "What do you think is happening?" She doesn't have an answer. He waits. When she says nothing, he continues down the hall. The bathroom door closes. The shower starts. Nia sits alone in the living room, book forgotten on her lap. Her phone buzzes. "Malcolm, good seeing you today. Let's not wait so long next time." She reads it 3 times. Types a reply. Deletes it. Types another. Definitely. Sends it. The shower runs for a long time. When Darius finally emerges, she's still on the couch, but her eyes are closed. He doesn't wake her. In the morning, she finds a blanket draped over her legs. A pillow tucked beneath her head. He's already gone. A note on the counter. Early call. Coffee's made. She pours herself a cup. It's exactly how she likes it. She doesn't know what that means anymore. The spreadsheet has 17 tabs. Darius scrolls through them in his home office, a converted spare bedroom with a desk he built himself and shelves lined with binders labeled by year. Outside, the neighborhood settles into its Sunday rhythm: lawn mowers, distant church bells, someone's kid learning to ride a bike. He clicks on the tab marked Joint. Studies the columns. Deposits, withdrawals, recurring charges. Nia's spending patterns are consistent. Coffee 3 times a week from the place near the hospital. Gas every 9 days. The occasional online order: clothes, books, things that arrive in brown boxes she forgets to break down for recycling. Nothing unusual. Nothing excessive. He switches to the tab marked Business. His HVAC company, registered in his name alone, built over 8 years from a single van and a prayer, generates steady revenue. Commercial contracts. Residential maintenance plans. Emergency calls that pay double on holidays. The money flows through accounts Nia has never asked to see. She knows the business does well. She doesn't know the specifics. That's how he prefers it. He opens a new browser tab. Logs into their bank. Navigates to settings. The direct deposit from his business currently splits: 60% to the joint account, 40% to his personal. This arrangement dates back to when they first combined finances, when splitting felt like partnership. He changes it. 80% personal, 20% joint. The system asks him to confirm. He confirms. Next, he adjusts the automatic transfers. The joint account used to receive a cushion each month, an extra deposit he set up to cover overages. He cancels it. Then the utility payments. Electric, gas, water, internet, all linked to the joint account, all pulling automatically. He changes the payment source to a credit card in Nia's name. The one she uses for groceries. The one with the modest limit. She won't notice immediately. The charges are small enough to absorb. But in a month, maybe 2, the balance will start to climb. The cushion she's used to will thin. He doesn't think of it as sabotage. He thinks of it as preparation. Downstairs, Nia is making breakfast. He smells bacon, hears the pop of grease in the pan. He closes his laptop. Descends the stairs. "Smells good," he says. She glances over her shoulder. "You want eggs?" "Scrambled." He pours himself coffee. Sits at the table. Watches her cook. "I'm thinking about switching our utility setup," he says. "What do you mean?" "Moving some payments around. Streamlining." She flips the bacon. "Okay. I'll need you to update the auto-pay on your Visa. For the electric and gas." "Why?" "Tax reasons. Separating business and personal expenses more cleanly." It's not entirely a lie. It's not entirely the truth either. Nia shrugs. "Sure. Just send me the account numbers. I'll handle it." She cracks eggs into a bowl. Whisks them with a fork. "You've been in your office a lot lately," she says. "End of quarter. Paperwork. You need help with any of it?" "I've got it." She pours the eggs into the pan. They sizzle, bubble at the edges. "I could learn," she says. "The business stuff." If you wanted to show me. Darius sips his coffee. Sets it down. It's complicated. I'm not stupid. I didn't say you were. Then why can't I be involved? He watches her stir the eggs. Her movements are sharper than usual. Something underneath the offer. You're busy, he says. The hospital takes everything you have. I don't want to add to your load. Maybe I want it added. Why no? She doesn't answer. The eggs finish cooking. She divides them onto 2 plates, adds bacon, brings them to the table. They eat in silence. Darius finishes first. Rinses his plate. Places it in the dishwasher. I appreciate the offer, he says finally. But I've got a system. It works. Nia looks at him. Something in her face flickers, frustration, maybe, or something closer to suspicion. What's the business worth? She asks. What? The company. If you sold it tomorrow, what would we get? He leans against the counter. Folds his arms. Why are you asking? I'm curious. You've never been curious before. Maybe I should have been. The kitchen feels smaller suddenly. The hum of the refrigerator too loud. It's worth enough, Darius says. That's not an answer. It's the answer I have. She pushes her plate away. Half the eggs untouched. Are we okay? She asks. Financially, we're fine. Then why won't you tell me? He studies her face. Weighs his response. Because it's my business, he says. Built before you. With my name on it. And I don't owe an itemized report to anyone. The words land harder than he intended. Or maybe exactly as hard as he intended. He can't always tell anymore. Nia stands. Carries her plate to the sink. Scrapes the eggs into the disposal. I wasn't asking for a report, she says quietly. I was asking to be included. There's a difference between inclusion and oversight. Is that what you think I want? Oversight? I think, he says slowly, that you've been spending a lot of time with someone who has opinions about how I run things. And I think those opinions are starting to sound like yours. She turns off the water. Grips the edge of the sink. This isn't about Malcolm. I didn't say it was. You implied it. I stated a fact. The disposal grinds for 3 seconds. Stops. The kitchen goes quiet. I'm going to take a shower, Nia says. She walks past him without touching him. Her footsteps fade up the stairs. The bathroom door closes. Darius stands alone in the kitchen. Morning light slants through the window, catching dust in the air. He returns to his office. Opens the laptop. There's one more adjustment to make. He navigates to the account where he keeps the emergency fund, 6 months of expenses, built over years, known only to him. He transfers half of it to a new account. One he opened last week. One that doesn't appear on any shared statement. The confirmation email arrives instantly. He deletes it. Downstairs, the shower runs. Upstairs, the spreadsheet updates. He closes the laptop. Sits back in his chair. Outside, the kid on the bike finally makes it to the end of the block without falling. Someone claps. Someone cheers. Darius doesn't hear it. He's already calculating the next step. The argument that ends the marriage starts 3 days before it happens. Tuesday. Nia comes home late from a double shift to find Darius in the living room, television off, lights dimmed. He sits in the armchair facing the door like he's been waiting. Long day, she says. 16 hours. She stops halfway to the kitchen. You keeping track? You texted me at 2. Said you'd be home by 8. It's 11. Things ran over. I told you that happens. You didn't text. She drops her bag on the couch. Exhaustion presses behind her eyes. I was busy. A patient coded. I didn't have time to update you on my schedule. Darius nods slowly. But you had time to call Malcolm. The accusation lands before she can register it. Excuse me. He posted a photo. Coffee shop. Your car's visible in the parking lot reflection. Timestamp says 7:14. Nia stares at him. You're checking his social media? I'm observant. That's not observant. That's surveillance. It's awareness. She wants to scream. Wants to throw something. Wants to ask him when awareness became indistinguishable from suspicion. Instead, she says, I stopped for 20 minutes. To decompress. Before coming home to this. To what? To you. Sitting in the dark. Cataloging my movements. Darius stands. crosses to the window, looks out at the empty street. I don't catalog, he says quietly. I notice. There's a difference. Is there? He doesn't answer. Wednesday. They don't speak at breakfast. Darius leaves early, a commercial job in Buckhead. Nia leaves later, drives to the hospital in silence, works her shift without checking her phone. Malcolm texts at noon. You okay? You seemed off yesterday. She doesn't respond until her break. Just tired. Marriage stuff. Want to talk about it? She types a reply. Deletes it. Types another. Not yet. The shift ends at 7. She drives home the long way, past the house she grew up in, past the church where her grandmother used to take her, past the cemetery where her father is buried. She doesn't stop. Just drives. When she pulls into the driveway, Darius's truck is already there. The lights inside are on. Through the window, she can see him moving in the kitchen. She sits in the car for 3 minutes before going in. Thursday. The fight that's been building finally surfaces. It starts over dishes. You left the pan soaking again, Darius says. I was going to get to it. It's been 3 days. Then wash it yourself. He turns from the sink. Studies her. What's going on with you? Nothing. You've been distant. She laughs, a short, sharp sound. I've been distant? You haven't touched me in 2 weeks. You track my location through other people's photos. You answer questions with questions. And I'm the one who's distant. I'm protecting myself. From what? From whatever's happening that you won't tell me about. The kitchen shrinks around them. Nia grips the edge of the counter. Nothing is happening. Then why does his name come up more than mine? Whose name? You know whose? She does. She hates that she does. Malcolm is a friend. That's all. Friends don't text at midnight. You're reading my messages now? The phone lights up. I see the name. I don't have to read the content to understand the pattern. Nia's chest tightens. What pattern? The pattern of a woman who's looking for something outside her marriage. That's not fair. Fair is irrelevant. I'm describing what I see. She wants to argue. To explain that Malcolm listens, that he asks questions without subtext, that talking to him feels like breathing after weeks of holding her breath. But explaining feels like confessing. And she has nothing to confess. I'm not cheating on you, she says. I didn't say you were. You implied it. I implied you're emotionally unavailable to me and increasingly available to him. Whether that constitutes cheating depends on definitions I don't control. The words are so measured. So precise. Like he rehearsed them. I can't do this, Nia says. Do what? This. The constant examination. The implication that I'm always doing something wrong without ever being told what. I'm not examining. I'm observing. Stop saying that. The shout surprises both of them. Nia's voice echoes off the tile, the cabinets, the window over the sink. Darius doesn't flinch. Doesn't raise his voice in return. I think you should lower your tone, he says. I think you should act like a husband instead of an auditor. Silence. The refrigerator hums. Outside, a dog barks twice and stops. I'm going to bed, Darius says. He walks past her. Doesn't touch her. Doesn't look at her. She stands in the kitchen alone, shaking. Friday. Nia calls Malcolm on her lunch break. I think my marriage is over, she says. What happened? Nothing. Everything. I don't know how to explain it. Try. She does. The tracking. The silence. The way every conversation feels like a deposition. The way she started to dread coming home. Malcolm listens without interrupting. When she finishes, he says, Have you told him any of this? I've tried. He turns it around. Makes it about my tone. My distance. My friendship with you. Maybe you need to be more direct. Direct how? Tell him what you need. And if he can't give it to you, maybe that's your answer. She stares at the wall of the break room. A poster about hand washing. A schedule she should have memorized by now. What if he leaves? Then he leaves. And you find out what you're worth without him defining it. She comes home that night with the words already forming. Darius is in the kitchen. Cooking. The normalcy of it almost stops her. Hey, he says. I made stir-fry. We need to talk. He turns off the burner. Wipes his hands on a towel. Okay. She stands across from him. the island between them like a negotiating table. I can't keep living like this, she says. Like what? Like I'm on probation. Like every move I make is being recorded and used against me. I don't record anything. You remember everything. It's the same thing. He folds the towel. Sets it down precisely. What do you want me to do? I want you to trust me. Trust is earned. I've been earning it for 5 years. And spending it for 3 months. Her hands shake. She reaches for her phone. Dials Malcolm. Puts it on speaker. Nia? His voice fills the kitchen. What's up? Tell him, she says, eyes locked on Darius. Tell him I'm not crazy for wanting a friend. You're not crazy, Malcolm says, confusion in his voice. What's going on? Darius doesn't move. Doesn't speak. His face is unreadable. Nia's voice breaks when she says it. Either accept Malcolm in my life or leave. The ultimatum hangs in the air. Malcolm breathes on the other end of the line, waiting. Darius holds her gaze for a long moment. Then he turns. Walks to the bedroom. She follows. The duffel is already in his hand when she reaches the doorway. Already packed. The first card declines at 7:43 in the morning. Nia stands at the register of the grocery store near her apartment. She's been staying at Keisha's place since Darius left, sleeping on a pull-out couch that smells faintly of lavender fabric softener. The purchase is small: eggs, bread, orange juice, a box of granola bars for the shifts ahead. Can you run it again? She asks. The cashier swipes. Waits. Shakes her head. Still declined. You have another card. Nia digs through her wallet. Finds her backup visa, the one Darius linked to utilities, the one she rarely uses. Hands it over. It goes through. But the receipt shows a balance she doesn't recognize, $847.32 remaining on a $1,500 limit. She stares at the number. Tries to remember the last time she checked. At the hospital, she logs into her bank account during a break. The joint checking, the account where her paychecks deposit, where their shared life was supposed to live, shows a balance of $312.14. She scrolls through recent transactions. Her deposits are there, bi-weekly, consistent, unremarkable. But the cushion is gone. The transfers Darius used to make, the ones she never tracked because she never had to, stopped 3 weeks ago. And the automatic payments have shifted. Electric, gas, water, internet, all pulling from her visa now. Charges she didn't authorize. Charges she didn't notice until the limit started shrinking. She calls the bank. The account holder made these changes on the 14th, the representative says. Are you listed as a joint owner? Yes. Then you would have received notification via email. Nia checks her inbox. Finds the email buried beneath promotional offers and shift confirmations. Subject line, account update confirmation. She never opened it. Is there a problem with the changes? The representative asks. I didn't agree to them. Unfortunately, either account holder can modify payment sources. If you'd like to dispute. Nia hangs up. She calls Darius that evening from the parking lot of Keisha's building. The sun is setting, orange light bleeding across the hood of her car. He answers on the third ring. Nia, what did you do? Silence. Then, you'll have to be more specific. The accounts. The payments. The money. I adjusted our finances to reflect our current situation. Our current situation is that my card got declined at the grocery store. That's unfortunate. Unfortunate. Her voice cracks. You emptied the account. I removed my contributions. What remains is yours. We built that together. Did we? The question stops her. She grips the steering wheel with her free hand. What is that supposed to mean? It means I deposited. You spent. That's not building. That's subsidizing. I paid bills. I bought groceries. I kept us alive. And I funded the account that made that possible. Now I don't. She wants to scream at him. Wants to drive to wherever he's staying and demand he look her in the eye while he dismantles her life. Instead, she says, this is revenge. This is a boundary. It's the same thing. No, he says calmly. Revenge would require emotion. I'm simply reducing exposure. Exposure to what? Disrespect. The word again. The same word. Like a verdict he keeps handing down. I never disrespected you, she says. You put another man on speaker and asked me to leave my own home. You called that respect. I called it honesty. Then we define the word differently. She closes her eyes. The sunset burns through her lids. Darius. Please. I can't afford. You have a job. You have income. You have resources I didn't provide. Use them. That's not fair. Fair is a fantasy. I'm dealing in reality. She hears something in the background, a door closing, footsteps on hardwood. Wherever he is, it's quiet. Ordered. The kind of space he always preferred. Are you coming back? She asks. To what? To us. To the marriage. He pauses. When he speaks again, his voice is softer. Almost tender. There is no us, Nia. There's you. And there's me. And there's the distance you created between us. I didn't create this. You invited him into our home. Onto our phone. Into conversations that should have stayed between us. You made a choice. And you're punishing me for it. I'm responding to it. There's a difference. She laughs, a bitter, hollow sound. You keep saying that. Responding. Adjusting. Reducing. Like you're balancing a spreadsheet instead of ending a marriage. Maybe that's how I process. Maybe that's how you hide. Silence stretches between them. She can hear him breathing, slow and even. I'm not hiding, he says finally. I'm protecting what's left of me. And what about what's left of me? That, he says, is no longer my concern. He hangs up. Nia sits in the car until the sky goes dark. Her phone buzzes. A text from Keisha. Dinner's ready when you are. She doesn't move. The next week blurs into a series of small disasters. The electric bill hits her Visa. Then the gas. Then a late fee she didn't know was accumulating on the internet account. Her credit limit drops. Her available balance shrinks. She starts paying for groceries with cash, withdrawing from checking in small increments to avoid seeing the total. At work, she picks up extra shifts. Doubles. Triples when they're offered. The exhaustion becomes a kind of armor, too tired to think, too busy to feel. Malcolm texts every day. Checking in. Offering help. She responds in fragments. Fine. Busy. Talk later. He shows up at Keisha's on Saturday with takeout and a bottle of wine. You look terrible, he says. Thanks. I mean it. When's the last time you slept? Define sleep. He sets the food on the counter. Keisha is out, visiting her mother in Savannah, and the apartment feels too large without her. You can't keep going like this, Malcolm says. I don't have a choice. You have choices. You're just not seeing them. She opens the wine. Pours a glass. Drinks half of it standing at the counter. He took everything, she says. He took money. That's not everything. It feels like everything. Malcolm steps closer. Not touching, but present. You still have you, he says. You still have people who care. You still have a future he doesn't control. She looks at him. His face is open, earnest. The opposite of Darius in every way. Why are you here? She asks. Because you need someone. That's not an answer. It's the only one I have. She finishes the wine. Sets down the glass. He thinks this is your fault, she says. The marriage ending. He blames you. Do you? She considers the question. Turns it over like a stone in her palm. I blame myself, she says. For not seeing what he was. And what was he? She doesn't answer. Outside, a car passes, headlights sweeping across the window. Malcolm waits. Patient, she says finally. He was patient. And I thought that meant safe. What does it mean now? She pours another glass. Drinks slower this time. It means he was waiting. For a reason to do exactly what he's doing. The takeout grows cold on the counter. Neither of them eats. Malcolm moves in on a Tuesday. It isn't planned. Keisha returns from Savannah with news. Her mother needs surgery. Recovery will take months. She's flying back this weekend. I'm so sorry, Keisha says, folding clothes into a suitcase. I know the timing is awful. It's fine, Nia says. Family comes first. Do you have somewhere to go? Nia doesn't. The house, her house, the one she shared with Darius, sits empty, utilities in her name, mortgage payments she can barely cover. She hasn't been back since the night he left. I'll figure it out, she says. Malcolm figures it out for her. Stay at my place, he offers. Guest room. No pressure. I can't do that. Why not? Because. She doesn't finish the sentence. Doesn't know how. Because of how it looks? Because of what it means. He shrugs. It means you need a place and I have one. That's all it has to mean. She moves in 3 days later. One suitcase. A box of toiletries. The pull-out couch at Keisha's replaced by a real bed in a room that smells like fresh paint and new beginnings. The first week feels like relief. Malcolm's apartment is nothing like the house she shared with Darius. It's smaller. Messier. Dishes stack in the sink for days at a time. Laundry piles in corners. The television plays constantly sports, news, reruns of shows she's never seen. He leaves cabinets open. Forgets to replace the toilet paper roll. Eats cereal at midnight and leaves the bowl on the coffee table until morning. Small things. Fixable things. She tells herself it doesn't matter. You can rearrange stuff if you want, Malcolm says, noticing her staring at the cluttered kitchen counter. Make it feel more like home. It's your place. It's our place now. Temporarily. Whatever. She doesn't rearrange. Doesn't want to claim space that isn't hers. Instead, she folds herself into corners, the guest room, the edge of the couch, the small patch of counter where she makes her morning coffee. Malcolm notices. You don't have to be invisible, he says. I'm not. You are. You move around here like you're apologizing for existing. She doesn't know how to explain that existing feels like an apology. That she spent 5 years in a house where every surface had a place, every object a purpose, every movement observed and catalogued. That mess feels like freedom and threat at the same time. I'm adjusting, she says. To what? To not being watched. He laughs. I barely notice what I'm doing. You think I'm watching you. She doesn't answer. The second week, Malcolm starts asking questions. Did you call the lawyer yet? Not yet. Nia. You need to protect yourself. I know. Then why haven't you called? Because I'm tired. Because calling makes it real. Because I don't have the money for a retainer. He sighs. Sits beside her on the couch. I can help with money. No. Why not? Because I'm not taking money from you. It's not taking. It's borrowing. It's the same thing. He pulls back. Something shifts in his face, frustration, maybe, or the beginning of something harder. You're stubborn, he says. I'm careful. Careful got you here. Maybe try something different. The words sting more than they should. She stands. Walks to the guest room. Closes the door. He doesn't follow. By the third week, the cracks widen. Malcolm has opinions. About her schedule. About her spending. About why she hasn't filed for divorce yet. You're letting him control the narrative, he says over dinner, take out again, the third time this week. Every day you wait, he wins. It's not about winning, isn't it? He's out there living his life. Clean. Quiet. And you're here, drowning. I'm not drowning. Your card got declined again yesterday. She freezes, fork halfway to her mouth. How do you know that? I was behind you in line at the gas station. I didn't say anything because I didn't want to embarrass you. So you're bringing it up now? I'm bringing it up because you need help and you won't ask for it. I didn't ask you to monitor my finances. I'm not monitoring. I'm observing. The word lands like a punch. She sets down her fork. Don't, she says. Don't what? Don't use that word. What word? Observing. He used to say that. Like watching someone is the same as caring about them. Malcolm's expression hardens. I'm not him. Then stop acting like him. The silence stretches. Outside, a siren wails past, Dopplering into the distance. I'm trying to help you, Malcolm says finally. I know. Then let me. I don't know how. He pushes back from the table. Carries his plate to the sink. Runs the water without washing anything. You know what your problem is, he says, back turned to her. You don't know what you want. You just know what you're running from. That's not fair. Fair is irrelevant. I'm describing what I see. The phrase, Darius's phrase, hangs between them. Malcolm doesn't notice. Doesn't know he's quoting the man he's supposed to be replacing. Nia doesn't tell him. The hospital calls on a Friday. We've received a complaint, the HR representative says. About personal matters affecting your performance. What kind of complaint? I can't disclose the source. But there have been concerns raised about your attendance. Your focus. Your personal situation. Nia grips the phone. My personal situation? We're not making judgments. We're offering support. The Employee Assistance Program. I don't need assistance. Is available to all staff members experiencing difficulties at home. I'm fine. Of course. This is just a courtesy call. We want you to know resources exist. She hangs up, stares at the wall of Malcolm's guest room. Someone called HR. Someone reported her. Someone decided her personal life was affecting her professional one. She doesn't know who. Doesn't know how they'd know. But she knows the complaint didn't mention Darius. It couldn't have. Because Darius never appears in any story. Never explains himself. Never defends or accuses. He just steps back and lets the systems react. That night, she calls him. He answers on the second ring. His voice is calm. Untroubled. Nia. Did you call my job? Pause. Why would I do that? Someone filed a complaint. About my personal situation. And you assumed it was me? Who else would it be? Anyone who's noticed you falling apart. Coworkers. Friends. The man you're living with. She bites down on the response that rises in her throat. I'm not falling apart. Okay. I'm not. I believe you. He doesn't. She can hear it. Darius. If you're doing something. I'm not doing anything, he says. That's the point. I removed myself. What happens after isn't my responsibility. But you're watching. I'm aware. There's a difference. Is there? He doesn't answer. The line hums between them. How's Malcolm? He asks. Why do you care? I don't. I'm curious. About what? About whether he's what you thought he was. Whether the alternative you chose is working out the way you imagined. She should hang up. Should end this conversation before it becomes a trap. Instead, she says, he's fine. Good. I hope he stays that way. The words sound like a wish. They feel like a warning. Good night, Nia. He hangs up before she can respond. She sits on the edge of the guest bed, phone dark in her hand. From the living room, she hears Malcolm's television, a basketball game, crowd noise, the squeak of sneakers on hardwood. He hasn't asked about her day. Hasn't noticed she's been in here for an hour. She lies back on the bed, stares at the ceiling. The paint is fresh, but the cracks underneath are already starting to show. No cryptic quotes about betrayal. No sad songs shared at midnight. No photos of empty chairs or wedding rings on nightstands. His social media stays exactly as it was: job updates, customer testimonials, the occasional photo of a sunset from a rooftop unit he's repairing. Nothing personal. Nothing revealing. Nothing at all. Nia notices because she can't stop checking. Every morning before her shift, every break between patients, every night when sleep refuses to come. She scrolls through his pages looking for evidence of anger, of hurt, of anything that might suggest he's struggling the way she is. She finds nothing. His business page gains followers. A 5-star review appears. Professional, punctual, fair pricing. Darius came out on a Sunday when no one else would. Highly recommend. Another one a week later. Fixed our AC when 2 other companies couldn't figure out the problem. This guy knows his stuff. He's thriving. Publicly. Visibly. While she fragments. The mutual friends notice too. Yolanda texts first. Hey girl. Just checking in. Heard you and Darius are going through something. You okay? Nia stares at the message. Wonders what heard means. Wonders who's talking. Wonders what version of the story is circulating. I'm okay, she replies. Taking it one day at a time. If you need anything, I'm here. No judgment. No judgment. The phrase implies there's something to judge. Keisha calls from Savannah that same afternoon. People are asking about you, she says. What people? Work people. Neighborhood people. Terrence told me someone at the hardware store asked Darius if he was okay, and he just said, I'm peaceful. That's it. I'm peaceful. Nia closes her eyes. Of course he did. What does that mean? It means he's letting me look crazy without saying a word. Nia. He doesn't have to tell anyone what happened. He just has to be calm. Be quiet. Be the man who shows up and does his job while his wife falls apart. The story writes itself. Keisha is quiet for a moment. Is that what you think is happening? It's what I know is happening. Then tell your side. To who? Everyone already thinks they know. He's the steady one. I'm the one who put another man on speaker and told him to leave. That's not the whole story. It doesn't matter. Whole stories don't fit in gossip. Impressions do. And his impression is clean. She tries once to correct the record. Yolanda invites her to lunch. A neutral spot, a Thai place neither of them has been to before. Nia arrives first, orders water, waits. Yolanda slides into the booth with a careful smile. You look tired. I am tired. How's the new place? It's fine. Nia doesn't mention Malcolm. Doesn't want to see the judgment flicker across Yolanda's face. And Darius? We're not talking. At all. He calls sometimes. To check in. She hates how she phrases it. Like he's being considerate instead of monitoring. That's good, right? That he still cares. Nia's jaw tightens. He doesn't care. He observes. He waits. He lets things collapse and watches from a safe distance. Yolanda's expression shifts. Careful now. Clinical. What do you mean collapse? The finances. The accounts. He moved everything before he left. I didn't even know until my card got declined. He moved your money? His money. That's what he'd say. His business, his income, his accounts. I just happened to live off them. Yolanda stirs her tea. That sounds complicated. It sounds like what it is. Control. But he didn't, he never hit you or anything. The question lands like a slap. Nia stares at her. No. He never hit me. Okay. People are asking. And I didn't know what to tell them. People are asking if you hit me? They're asking what happened. Why you left. Why you're staying with Yolanda stops herself. With who? I don't know. Someone said you're living with Malcolm now. Nia's stomach drops. Who said that? I don't remember. It's going around. It's going around. People talk, Nia. Especially when one person isn't saying anything and the other person is visible. Visible. The word sticks in her throat. I'm not doing anything wrong, she says. I didn't say you were. You implied it. I'm just telling you what's out there. So you know. Nia pushes her water away. Appetite gone. Thanks for letting me know. The lunch ends early. Hugs exchanged, promises to talk soon. Neither of them means it. The visibility gets worse. Malcolm posts a photo of dinner, steaks on a grill, 2 plates, a bottle of wine. He doesn't tag her, but the setting is unmistakable. His apartment, his balcony, his life that she's now part of. The comments trickle in. Friends of his, people she doesn't know. Looking good. Who's the lucky lady? About time you found someone. Chef Malcolm strikes again. He doesn't respond to them. Doesn't clarify or deny. The ambiguity becomes its own story. Nia confronts him that night. You need to take that down. Take what down? The photo. People are assuming. Assuming what? That I made dinner. That we're together. He shrugs. Aren't we? No. I'm staying with you. That's not the same thing. Then what is it? She doesn't have a good answer. The lines have blurred without her noticing. Dinners together. Movies on the couch. The way he reaches for her hand sometimes and she doesn't pull away. It's complicated, she says. Everything with you is complicated. What's that supposed to mean? It means you want help, but you don't want to admit you need it. You want company, but you don't want to call it a relationship. You want to leave him, but you can't stop talking about him. I don't. You checked his page 4 times today. I watched you. She freezes. You were watching me? You left your phone on the counter. The screen lights up. The echo is too loud. Too familiar. I need some air, she says. She grabs her keys. Walks out. Drives without knowing where she's going. She ends up at the house. Their house. Her house. The one she hasn't entered since the night he left. The driveway is empty. The lawn is overgrown. Darius used to mow it every Sunday. The windows are dark. She sits in the car for a long time. Watching. A neighbor walks by with a dog. Waves. Nia waves back. The woman crosses the street. Approaches the car. Nia? Is that you? She recognizes the face. Mrs. Okonkwo from 3 doors down. The one who used to bring them pie at Christmas. Hi, Mrs. Okonkwo. I thought you moved out, dear. I did. I was just checking on things? Something like that. Mrs. Okonkwo glances at the house. Then back at Nia. We were sorry to hear about you and Darius. He seemed like such a nice man. He is. Always so polite. So helpful. Fixed my AC last summer, wouldn't even let me pay him. That sounds like him. You don't see many like that anymore. Young men who take care of things. Nia nods. Doesn't trust herself to speak. Well, Mrs. Okonkwo pats the car door. You take care of yourself. And don't be a stranger. She walks away. The dog trots beside her, tail wagging. Nia stares at the house. The overgrown lawn. The dark windows. She thinks about Mrs. Okonkwo telling her bridge club what she saw. Nia, sitting in her car outside an empty house, looking lost. Looking unstable. She thinks about Darius, somewhere across town, peaceful. Silent. Unchanged. She thinks about the story people are building without her permission. The version where he's the victim. Where she's the chaos. Where the ending is already written. She starts the car. Pulls away. The house shrinks in the rearview mirror. She doesn't look back. That night, Malcolm finds her crying in the guest room. Hey! He sits on the edge of the bed. What happened? Nothing. Nia. I went to the house. Why? I don't know. I wanted to see it. To remember what it felt like. And? It felt like someone else's life. He reaches for her hand. She lets him take it. You're going to get through this, he says. How do you know? Because you're stronger than you think. She wants to believe him. Wants to lean into the comfort he's offering. But somewhere in the back of her mind, she hears Darius's voice. I hope he stays that way. She doesn't know what he meant. She's starting to suspect she will. 3 months later. Nia sits in her car outside a coffee shop she's never been to. Neutral territory. Darius's suggestion. She arrived early. Watched him pull up in his truck clean, waxed, the same truck he's always driven. Watched him walk inside without checking to see if she was already there. He knew she would be. The coffee shop is half empty. Mid-afternoon lull. He's chosen a table near the back, away from the window. 2 chairs. No third seat. She enters. He stands when he sees her. Doesn't move to hug her. Doesn't extend his hand. Just waits. You look good, she says. Thank you. New apartment treating you well? It's sufficient. She sits. He sits. A waitress appears, takes their orders, black coffee for him, chai latte for her. The same things they always ordered. The silence stretches. Thank you for meeting me, Nia says. You said it was important. It is. She's rehearsed this. In the car. In the shower. In the hours between shifts when sleep wouldn't come. She knows what she wants to say. She just doesn't know how to start. I've been thinking, she begins. He waits. About everything. The way things ended. The things I said. The ultimatum. Yes. The speakerphone. Yes. He nods slowly. Takes a sip of coffee that hasn't arrived yet, an empty gesture, a habit. His hands rest on the table, still and patient. I was wrong, Nia says. Not about everything. But about how I handled it. About the way I made you feel like you didn't matter. Go on. You did matter. You do matter. I got lost. In the attention. In feeling like someone was actually listening to me. Malcolm. Not just him. But yes. Him too. The waitress returns with their drinks. Sets them down without interrupting. Disappears. Darius lifts his cup. Blows on the surface. Doesn't drink. What are you asking for, Nia? I don't know. She wraps her hands around the warm mug. A second chance. A conversation. Something. I know I hurt you. I know I broke something that might not be fixable. But I need you to know that I see it now. What I did. What I lost. He sets down the cup. Meets her eyes for the first time. And Malcolm. I moved out. 2 weeks ago. He wasn't what I thought. What did you think he was? Safe. Different. I don't know. She looks away. He turned out to be just another version of the same thing. The same thing as what? As someone who wanted to control me without admitting it. Darius doesn't respond. His face is unreadable, not cold exactly, but contained. The same containment she used to mistake for stability. I'm not asking you to take me back, she says. I'm asking you to hear me. To know that I understand what I did. I hear you. And what? Is there anything left? Anything worth trying to save? He's quiet for a long moment. The coffee shop murmurs around them, the hiss of the espresso machine, the low chatter of other customers, the scrape of a chair against the floor. I appreciate you saying this, he says finally. It takes courage to admit fault. But I've moved on. The words land softly, almost gently. That's what makes them worse. Moved on to what? To peace. To a life that isn't defined by waiting for the next crisis. The next accusation. The next name on a phone screen. I never accused you of anything. You didn't have to. Your behavior was the accusation. Every text you hid. Every lunch you didn't mention. Every time you chose his voice over mine. I didn't choose him over you. Then why was he on speaker in our kitchen while you told me to leave? She doesn't have an answer. She never has. I made mistakes, she says. I know that. You did. So did you. He tilts his head. Did I? The finances. The accounts. The way you dismantled everything before you walked out the door. I protected myself. You punished me. I responded to the situation you created. By making sure I'd fail. He sets down his cup. Folds his hands on the table. Nia. When you gave me the ultimatum, I had a choice. Stay and accept disrespect, or leave and preserve my dignity. I chose dignity. And the money? That was dignity. That was separation. Of assets. Of futures. Of lives that were no longer moving in the same direction. You could have warned me. Would you have listened? She opens her mouth. Closes it. I didn't think so, he says. They sit in silence for a while. Nia drinks her chai. It's too sweet. She drinks it anyway. I filed the papers, she says. Last week. I know. I received them. Are you going to contest anything? No. Not even the house? The house is in both our names. We'll sell it. Split the equity. Move on. Just like that. Just like that. She expected more. Anger. Negotiation. Something to push against. Instead, there's only this calm, measured acceptance. The same calm she once found comforting. The same calm that now feels like a wall. I loved you, she says. I know. Did you love me? He pauses. Considers the question like it's an equation he's solving. I loved the idea of you, he says. The partner I thought you could be. The life I thought we were building. That's not the same thing. No, it isn't. She feels the tears building. Fights them back. I don't understand how you can be so calm about this. Calm is how I survive. It's how you hide. Maybe. He shrugs. But it's also how I got through the last 3 months without falling apart. Without calling your job. Without posting anything online. Without telling anyone what you did. You think that makes you better than me? I think it makes me different. Whether that's better is a matter of perspective. The coffee grows cold. The afternoon light shifts through the window, casting long shadows across the table. What happens now? Nia asks. Now we finish our drinks. We say goodbye. We sign the papers when they're ready. And we become strangers who used to be married. That's it. What else would there be? I don't know. Closure. Understanding. Something that makes sense of all this. He stands. Leaves cash on the table, enough for both drinks, plus a generous tip. Closure is a story people tell themselves, he says. Understanding is overrated. The only thing that matters is what you do next. And what are you doing next? Living. Working. Building something that doesn't depend on anyone else. Alone. For now. He buttons his jacket. Adjusts the collar. Maybe always. I haven't decided. She stands too. Doesn't know what to do with her hands. Darius. Yes. I'm sorry. He looks at her. Really looks, the way he used to, before everything went wrong. For a moment, she sees something flicker behind his eyes. Grief, maybe. Or the memory of it. Then it's gone. I know, he says. I'm sorry too. For what? He doesn't answer. Just nods once, a small, final gesture, and walks toward the door. She watches him go. Watches him climb into his truck. Watches him pull out of the parking lot without looking back. The waitress approaches. Can I get you anything else? Nia shakes her head. Just the check. Your friend already covered it. He's not my friend. Oh. The waitress hesitates. Well, have a good day. Nia sits back down. Stares at the empty chair across from her. Her phone buzzes. A text from Malcolm. Can we talk? She deletes it without responding. Another buzz. Keisha, how did it go? She types back, it's over. Are you okay? She thinks about the question. About what okay means now. About the house she'll have to sell, and the apartment she'll have to find, and the life she'll have to rebuild from pieces she didn't know were broken. I will be, she writes. She doesn't know if it's true. But it's the only answer she has. Outside, the sun drops toward the horizon. Rush hour begins its slow crescendo. Somewhere across town, Darius parks his truck in front of a building she's never seen. Climbs stairs to an apartment that holds no trace of her. He opens the door. Steps inside. Closes it behind him. The space is clean. Ordered. Everything in its place. He sets his keys in a dish by the door. Hangs his jacket on a hook. Moves through the rooms with the quiet precision of a man who has learned to need nothing he cannot provide for himself. The refrigerator hums. The AC clicks on, a unit he installed himself, calibrated to the exact temperature he prefers. He sits in a chair by the window. Watches the city settle into evening. He doesn't think about Nia. Doesn't replay the conversation. Doesn't wonder if he was too harsh or not harsh enough. He did what he needed to do. Said what he needed to say. The rest is gravity. In the coffee shop across town, his wife, soon-to-be ex-wife, finally stands. Gathers her things. Walks to her car. She sits behind the wheel for a long time. Doesn't start the engine. She thinks about the man she married. The man she lost. The man who loved the idea of her but maybe never loved her at all. She thinks about Malcolm. About the comfort that became a cage. About patterns she didn't recognize until she was trapped inside them. She thinks about herself. About who she was before. About who she might become after. The sun disappears. The parking lot lights flicker on. She starts the car. Pulls out of the lot. Drives towards something she can't yet name. Behind her, the coffee shop closes for the night. The waitress wipes down the table where they sat. Throws away the napkins neither of them used. In his apartment, Darius turns off the light. Goes to bed early. He sleeps well. He always does.